My goodness.
All right. So I should be live now. Hello, everyone. Please let me know if you can see and hear me. And please let me know if you can see and hear Rose. Hello, Rose.
I'm waiting for the live stream to start on my side because I still think I'm at like a 30-second delay.
Yes, there is a
Waiting.
delay.
Oh,
I've just
did
said
you
hi
still
to you on the live.
Oh, go
First,
quiet.
we fix the image file, then
Whoa, go quiet. There we go. Skip. There we go.
All
I
right.
lost you, Vicki. I am not hearing you anymore.
You're not hearing
Oh
me?
no. Vicki, I lost you. When you turned on the live stream, it turned off your audio to me.
Wow.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm not sure why that
Okay,
is.
so you can hear me, but
I can hear you fine.
can't hear Vicki. Oh no, this is a problem. Something changed. Something happened. As soon as you went live, I could no longer hear you on the ninja thing.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Oh
Because
no.
I'm not muted.
Uh-oh.
How's that?
Oh, yes, there you are. Yay! Oh, you fixed it so quickly. This is awesome. Good.
These things are sent to triers, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right.
But you
Enough of
all
our
can hear us, can you, everybody? That's good. That's good.
Yay.
Okay. Well, before something else goes wrong, just start talking. So, welcome everyone. We're on live stream number 3. I can't believe we're on number 3 already. On this beautiful puzzle, The Six Portals, a 7,000 piecer by Ravensburger. And I'm going to show you the whole thing. You might be able to see it all. But that is the poster. Look how lovely that is. And I am working on this side, these 3 portals here. So I am honoured to welcome Rose back to the live streams. Welcome, Rose, the lovely artist of this puzzle. How are you doing today, Rose?
I am great and exhausted because last night was Halloween and I'm in Orlando, Florida. And, you know, in the US, we are really serious about the way we take Halloween. And I have 3 kids and my kids had their friends over, and trick or treating is a very, very big deal in my neighborhood. Like there's houses that have very elaborate setups and music
Wow.
and animatronics. And there are, in Florida, and this was new to me, people actually sit outside of their houses and hand out candy. And as a result, they
Oh,
will also sometimes have coolers of alcoholic beverages that they are just like giving out to the parents. So it's like, it's a party, like big
oh,
party
wow.
evening. And so I'm just coming off of that exhaustion, but great. I am doing great.
Good, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear it. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here again with us.
Oh, so happy. This
I'm
is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to chatting with everyone and answering your questions. This is
yeah,
just
oh, I'm sure there'll be no
relaxing.
shortage of questions. So, just quickly, I'm just going to talk about what I've been working on with the puzzle. So, I've been doing the yellow portal, and I've been working mostly on the sky. And last week I got a good chunk of it done, and most of the airships. So, what I've done is, because it was starting to fill the board, I've turned it this way and I've actually put some of it on this board underneath. So, and then what I've done is I pulled the edge over, the top edge of this particular portal, because I'd want to start working on some of these transition pieces where the sky meets the framework. And I've got those separated out as far as I can tell. So it's a little bit bigger. So what I've done is I've made your picture a little bit smaller on the screen, Rose. But if you need to show people anything, just let me know and I can make it bigger so they can see
Okay.
it a bit better. But I just
All right.
needed a wee bit more space to show the puzzle because it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. It's hard to stop puzzling this though, I have to say. Like, I've been loving it so far. It's really hard to put it down and then wait for a week.
Mhm.
It's been brill. It's been a lot of fun. So, I guess where to start? Shall I ask the first question? So, I hear you were talking about Halloween in your neighborhood and
Yeah.
people going all out with animatronics and stuff. I hear
Mhm.
that you had some of that going on as
Yes.
well at
Oh,
your house.
it's on the
Tell
other
us
side
about
of the
that.
room. I should carry it right over here, except it's not on. But we built an animatronic of, okay, so my kids, like, okay, I have to back up like five start questions here. Um, my kids are into Five Nights at Freddy's. So I don't know if any of you also have kids who are into Five Nights at Freddy's. And if you're not familiar with this thing, it's basically it's a parody of Chuck E. Cheese, like a twisted horror parody of Chuck E. Cheese. And it came out as a game and then it became a movie series. And so my daughter is very much into it. My husband and I have always been fascinated by animatronics. Like we live here near Disney, and my husband works for Walt Disney World. And my husband, way back in the day, back in the 90s, used to work for Chuck E. Cheese. So we are
All
very
right.
we've always loved them. So we were like, why don't we build our own? Because now the technology exists. You could get a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino board, like a hobbyist circuit board, in order to program these things. So we built, oh, I really want to grab it, but I'm afraid if I move it, I'm going to break it. But we 3D printed a little head of Freddy Fazbear, and we painted it, and we got the servos, and we hooked it up to the Raspberry Pi, and we got the speakers, and we had it was camera operated. Anyways, it was out on our front porch, and my kids were like so excited, and we were excited because we accomplished this thing. So my husband's a software engineer by trade, so it's a little bit within his wheelhouse, but most of what he does is very back end, like websites. Like with Disney, he works on the point of sale system, so he does not work with any sort of robotics at all. And over
Right.
here, I'm, designing puzzles. So for me, doing something very dimensional is fun. And so it's basically we were able to use our brains in different ways and make this family project. And because we want our kids to get into robotics, because I feel like that's a huge area that's going to be expanding. And if they're already interested in it on a hobby level, I don't know, we think we're being good parents, but we're also like just messing around and having fun. So like that was our big thing last night, our debuting our Freddy Fazbear on our front porch.
Well, I've seen that. You'll have to, if you can't share it on here, you'll have to maybe share your wee video on the Discord
Oh,
server, maybe.
that's a
I
good
bet
idea.
people would love to see that. You put it in the. I would classify that as an other hobby. You could put it in the other hobbies chat.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I will definitely.
Robotic.
I'm gonna post. I have a little video clip of my Freddy Fazbear. I'll post it in the other hobbies chat. Does anyone else like mess around with hobbyist electronics or Raspberry Pis or 3D printing? Um.
I
Oh.
actually, my chat stopped moving.
Oh no. Oh, somebody just asked me a question though. It was a really good question that has a very long answer. Okay. Well, while you're figuring out your chat, I will answer this question. So, Liza like Manelli just asked me, how did I meet my husband? Um, so I was 19 years old. He was 20. We were college students at RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology. And there was a rainy evening where my friend dragged me to a meeting for the fashion club. And I did not want to go to the meeting for the fashion club, but because I was her friend, I went to this meeting. And as I was leaving, I was going through our student alumni union. So, big public gathering space. And in this union hall is a room called the Fireside Lounge. And it has a giant cozy fireplace, a bunch of couches, and a grand piano. And there was this guy playing piano, and I loved it. And because the year was 2003, I was like, I wanted to go and like download the song, because that was because that's Napster. This was the Napster era. And I was like, okay, I got to go find this song. I got to go download it. So let me go stop and ask the piano player, what he's playing. So I talked to this guy and he's like, oh, well, it's my original composition. So I'm like, oh, darn. So I can't go download it because it was your song. So we talked and we found we had a lot of things in common. But then I found his name. And I also found out, so I was living in a special interest house within our dorms called Art House. And it was next to a dorm called Hogs, the House of General Science. So they were like connected. And I found out that he, the previous year, had been part of Hogs and was on the floor, but now he was like an off floor member. So like I had these little pieces of information. And then we just like ended the conversation and went on our separate little ways. We didn't explain, I don't even think he owned a cell phone. Like that's how old how long ago this was. He didn't have a cell phone, so we didn't exchange cell phone numbers. We didn't think, because that was the era of, do you remember, Vicki, AOL Instant Messenger, AIM? Are you of that era where you used to have a screen name on AIM?
Yeah, we used like MSN Messenger and like Skype Messenger, but it's the same idea, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
So
before we had mobiles, or in a
yeah.
big way anyway. Yeah.
So that era, and I have to explain this to put this in context, because if you're younger, you'll be like, well, why didn't you look him up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever? It's like, no, we didn't have these things, and we didn't even exchange AIM screen names, and we just went off on our merry ways. And for the next week, I couldn't get this guy out of my head. So I started stalking
Oh.
Fireside Lounge and going through this lounge as often as I could in hopes I could find this piano player again. And then I started talking to my friend in Art House who was dating a guy from Hogs. And I was like, do you know this guy named Jamil? Jamil, I didn't know at the time, my husband, was talking to the same couple, but on the opposite side, talking to his friend from Hogs, like, hey, do you know this girl in Art House named Rose? And about a week after we had run into each other in Fireside Lounge, apparently he was up in Hogs hanging out with his friends, and he was telling them about me. And his friend Mark was like, you got to go talk to this girl. And I guess the way the story goes, he literally shoves Jamil down the hallway, because our dorms, we still had door decks. We had our names on our doorways. And I get this knock on my door. Luckily, I was in my room, and like, there was Jamil. And I was like, oh, and like the only thing I think I could see was like, oh, I thought I'd never see you again. I was like, what
Oh.
I was just like, and my roommate Aaliyah was there, and she was like, okay, you gotta go like go hang out with this guy. Like he's probably not a serial killer. Like go. And since that moment, it was September of 2003. Like we've been together ever since. We dated all through college, and then we got married shortly after. And then now we have 3 kids together. So yeah, so that's my super cute
Oh.
romantic story of how I met my husband.
And that all started an event that you didn't even want to go to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
So
it's
yeah,
funny how that happens, isn't it?
yeah. So do you have a good story?
Um, no, not really. Not
Oh, I'm sorry.
really.
Oh, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Oh, Vicky, I'm such a jerk. I don't even like. I actually didn't even know if I knew you had kids. I didn't know if you were married. I should. Oh my gosh.
No,
Did I skip that
obviously
question?
obviously yeah, I it wasn't really romantic like that. I met the kid's dad on a dating website. But I mean, we met and got to know each other and everything, and it was fine, but it wasn't like I don't know if I'd call it a sort of a great meeting story, but yeah, we're not together anymore, unfortunately.
Oh,
So,
okay. That's
but that's
awesome.
okay. That's okay.
Okay, that's all right. We're all friends here. Like this,
Indeed.
honest. We're open. Okay, let's look in the chat. Other questions. Oh, you know what? Somebody asked the question before the chat. Was it somebody asked about piece count, right? Let's switch to a
Oh
puzzle.
yes, aye. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. So it was after the first live stream that you were in, I got a comment from I think it was a Wayne Bennett. So if you're watching, Wayne, um I'll relay the question for you. So the question was something along the lines of, when a company approaches you to do a puzzle, do they tell you what piece count they're looking for, or do they just throw like a theme at you and get you to come back
Mhm.
with something? I think that was roughly the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So there are two ways that the puzzles tend to get made. So either the company approaches me and there is a specific need that they have and they know my style will fit. Or in some cases, I just design something that I suspect a company will want to license. And then my agent shows it to said company. And sometimes they choose to license it. And sometimes it takes like a year or so and a different puzzle company ends up picking up the image because I'm good at drawing puzzle images. I know in general what the companies are looking for. But usually when they approach me to do a specific puzzle, and some examples of that are Dragon Valley was one that they had asked me for. Dragons Race into the Night, that was that Buffalo Games puzzle. That was one that they specifically asked me for. And then of course, Six Portals. In those cases, they will often come to me and they'll be like, this is the piece count we have in mind, especially if it is a higher piece count, because most illustrators don't work that big because it's it takes a lot of effort and time. And
Yeah.
also you have to have very large file sizes in order to make sure your resolution is good enough for a puzzle design. So it's usually with the higher piece counts that they do approach me with piece count first. And that always makes things easier. But now I'm also getting to the point where all my puzzles, I design them, all the images are at least 36 inches or large. I go with like as big as I possibly can because now I'm learning that sometimes I can't anticipate. So for example, Tropical Dragons, that one, I had no idea that they were going to go 4,000 pieces on that one. But luckily I had designed the image, I think it was at least 36 inches. Which is
Mhm.
part of the reason they were like, oh, this would be perfect for that. And because I have a tendency to put a ridiculous amount of detail into my images. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, actually that's raised a question for me. So, have you ever had a situation where they've asked you for a specific size, but then they've changed their mind and you've had to like cut a bit off your image? Have you ever had
Mm.
that? I'm sure.
Oh, no,
Really?
that does happen a lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's come to be accepted. And I mean, image is in general. We have this term in illustration called bleed, and that is so when you design an image in which it prints to the end, when they actually put it through the presses, the image prints off the edges and then the edges are cut off. And usually it's for most companies, it's an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch bleed is that part that comes off. And actually, I
Uh,
remember back when I had my first job as a graphic designer, I was working for a company. They designed things for libraries, schools, and museums. A lot of catalog magazine work. And I always forgot because I was such a young designer, I would forget to add bleeds to my images. And so one of the other designers, she got mad at me and she put a big sign over my desk that said bleeds, right? And then somebody from another department walks through and they're like, what the heck? Why is the word bleeding or bleeds all over your desk? And I'm like, there's a reason. But
sounds a bit
yeah,
sinister.
yeah. We're the art department. We're a little odd. What can I say?
No, I'd heard of that because of when I had Nathaniel Mortensen in the chat, he was talking about one of his puzzles that was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be 1,000, but it ended up being a 500 or something like that, and he had to cut some out of the image, I think. And I can't remember why there was a change. I can't remember what happened there, but I just wondered, it's obviously something that does happen. I just wondered if that ever happened to you
Yeah, no,
before.
it's pretty common. And that's why most illustrators, we work digitally, even though many of us, our background is like, I'm just as comfortable with acrylic paint and oil paint and all of that. Even though it's been a while since I've used them. And I still draw by pencil I should go grab my sketchbook. Oh, I should show you guys my sketchbook.
Oh yeah, go for
So
it.
my little sketches. Um, when at some point, Vicki, I'm going to go refill my tea, and then I'll grab some visuals. So if anybody has any questions, pull out any props. But anyways, it's when you're a professional, you just kind of come to accept the fact that your image will probably be changed in some way, and this doesn't bother me at all. And this is why with somebody asked me about the 12 keys and why I make them a little obvious. Like, I can't put them too close to the edges on the chance that they could be cropped off. And I think maybe Stardust Scoops, somebody told me one of my keys got partially cropped off. Oh my goodness, I can't remember which image it was because I was going to put a note on my website. But we come to accept this. And sometimes like the puzzle companies have different proportions, and they all have like their standard proportions. So often when I will use the word targeting a certain puzzle company. So for example, if I'm painting a library, I assume that White Mountain is more likely to go for it. So I will design that piece to White Mountain, like their standards. But if I'm doing something that is a little more fantasy creatures, that's more likely to be picked up by Ravensburger's UK team or Schmidt and Spiel. So I might design for their proportions versus if I'm doing like, I just did like this cookie image. Where's my cookie image? Where did my cookie? Oh, there's my cookie puzzle. Like this is very different from me, but I so enjoyed drawing this. This was Cookie Creations. This came out a couple months ago with Seco. And so if I'm doing something that's more of like top-down desk view, I'll draw for their proportions. So yeah. And you just kind of like, the more you work with these companies, the more you get a sense of what they want. But then also that changes because the art directors change. So, you know, you take your best guess.
Keeps you on your toes.
All right, let's see. Are there any other questions in the chat? Okay. People are talking about Messenger. I guess Rose downloaded the musician when she couldn't download the song. Yeah. Like, dude, I love, okay, my husband, if you're curious, he still plays piano. We have about 10 feet from me, I have our electric grand piano, and he plays like every day. Like he hasn't stopped, and it's just his side hobby, and it's quite wonderful. So yeah.
That sounds amazing. I'd love to be able to play the piano. Does he teach it
so
ever?
do you play any instruments, Vicki?
I played like flute when I was at school, but I never continued that. And I had a few piano lessons when I was an adult, but then, I don't know, just life happened and I've not really gone back to it. But that is one instrument I would love to learn to play relatively well, you know, just to be able to sort of tinkle. But
nice.
that'd be great. That'd be
like
great.
I played viola in high school, and I regret, if I could go back to third grade me, I'd tell third grade me, don't play viola, play violin, because the violins get the better parts, and nobody tells you when you're picking your instrument. Is there any violists or violinists, string players? Where are my string players at? Are you in the chat or band geeks? Anyone?
Wait, I think my friend Matt, did you not play viola, Matt? I don't know if he's still there. I don't think he still does, but I'm sure he told me that he played viola at one stage.
Oh my goodness. I played all the way through high school. I think by the time I got older, a cellist. Okay. I stayed in it for the social aspect, because there was perks when you were an orchestra or a band kid. Like here in the US in the high school, you have the band room and the orchestra room, and they're usually attached to the auditorium. And you can go there and practice or eat your lunch there. So it was a way to get out of the cafeteria and just like hang out with your friends. And you just had a certain status. Like the hall monitors didn't care. You'd be like, oh, I'm just going to the orchestra room. And they were just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Because we were so frequently, because we'd have lessons that would get us out of our regular classes. So it was very common. And this is why, if you were reading Centurnia, Jessica is in the orchestra, because I was drawing on my experiences from that. And then on top of that, if you look at a lot of my illustrations, I will put a violin in there. And I'm very particular about making sure the violin is accurate, because I can't stand it if somebody draws the instrument and it's wrong, or you have a violinist and their finger position is incorrect. Like, hate it, hate it. But I love drawing. I should draw more. Okay, do I have any more? Okay, we have a cellist who changed the viol de gamba. Very cool. Oh, violinist, clarinet, flautist. Ah,
Well, I don't think we've ever had an instrument conversation before. This is quite interesting. Played the clarinet. Wow. I was always really intrigued by the saxophone, but for some reason never went for that. I'm not really sure what made me choose the flute. I mean, it was fine, but can't remember what my decision-making process was with that particular instrument.
how old were you? Was this something they do in the public schools there?
Yeah, it was like high school, so we didn't have that available at like primary school. Not
Mhm.
where I went anyway, but at high school they had like a private music teacher. So you could
Mhm.
get, it was the same idea. You could get out of lessons to go and have your music lesson. And then you could go inside at lunchtime, if band was on, or woodwind practice or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, but like, I don't know. I think they just kind of gave us a list of what was available, and for whatever reason I went for flute. I
Yeah.
played the saxophone, but I didn't. I don't know why. They just look. I think they just look cool. Saxophones. I don't know if I would have been any good at it though.
Okay. Somebody's asking, do you sell your licensed images to more than one company? Oh, that is a really good question. So, by definition, the fact that the images are licensed means I'm not actually selling them. I retain the copyright, but I am licensing them for a specific period of time for a specific purpose. So, a common one is, so I will license art to a puzzle company. So this one, okay, Little Lizard Garden, went to Seco for 3 years, and they printed it as, oh, this is cool. This is this is a glow in the dark puzzle. I think this is out of print, but that was a really fun one. And that later licensed to Diamond Art. Oh, I'm going to do something probably silly on my part. I'm going to unplug my phone. I'm going to move the camera. You guys can see my house. This might be a bad idea. So behind me here, so we licensed that same image to Diamond Art Club. This is over 100,000 little gems. Okay, I'm gonna pull the camera
Oh
closer. I don't know,
wow.
Vicki, if this is one of those things you do want to make my screen bigger for, because this thing is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
can do.
Here, let me
Give me a
hold up
second.
the original on the puzzle format. So my art, it tends to cross between puzzles, cross stitch, and diamond art, because those are three categories where having tiny detail is really critical to the image. Let's see if you can see the sparkle.
Oh
Can you see
my,
the
oh,
is
I
it
can see
sparkling?
it.
Is it
That's
sparkling?
beautiful. Yeah,
It's
I
amazing.
can see that.
So I did not put this one together. Actually, one of my fans in Alaska, she tends to do a lot of these, and she doesn't have a ton of wall space, so she gifts them to friends. And I had been saying once that, like, I've been wanting to get one, and I was gonna like have a neighbor put it together for me, because I just do not have the time to sit down and put 100,000 tiny little gemstones. Like, puzzles are more my speed. This is a whole different category of focus. But she put it together and she mailed it to me, and I sent her just some Saturnia novels in thanks, and I was just like overwhelmed. So I think I'm
Yeah,
going
that's
off
beautiful.
topic from my initial question there. I'm just walking around. Oh, I'm walking. Do you guys want a tour of my house? Is that bad? Actually, my house is a mess. Let me walk out to the night. Here, I'm going to show you guys.
Well,
We're
I'll make
at
this bigger again then.
the
Here we go.
This is a bad idea. I'm going to take you out to the lanai. Orlando, Florida. Represent.
Wasn't
See my back.
exciting?
This is my backyard. So this is okay. I did not know that this is called a lanai till I moved here like 3 years ago. But it's like a screened cage, basically. This is all screen behind me. It's not glass.
All right.
Isn't that lovely? Here, take you out to my backyard. And we have, it's a pond, but it's technically a retention pond, is what they call it. So Florida's was all swampland, right? And if they didn't, in the modern neighborhoods, find a way to mitigate the flow of water and control it, like basically every time there was a storm, we would just like flood. So what they did
Oh
is when they
gosh.
started building the newer neighborhoods. I'm sorry, Vicki, did you know you were going to get a lesson in the neighborhoods of Florida today?
I did not. But
But here
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
we're doing the 6 portals, and Impulsive Rose is just showing you her backyard. So anyways, we have a lot of these ponds, and they have like these drainage things, and they connect to, there's a larger lake beyond that line of trees. And that's what prevents my neighborhood from flooding, and how we deal with the hurricanes and stuff like that. So, all right, I'm going to walk you back to my little puzzle corner, and I'll pull you closer so you can't see. My house is a mess because, like I said, I have kids, and yesterday was Halloween, and there's still kid stuff everywhere. I'm so curious to see what the chat is going to look like when I get back.
Oh, I totally get it. Don't worry. I don't think my house is ever really clean.
But I enjoy it. You know what? It's a novelty to me because I spent so much of my life in New York State, and it feels like I'm living in a vacation. Okay, here is the chat.
Just making you a wee bit smaller again.
Okay. Tried flute, guitar, diamond art. Well, Jessica, you might want to check out a few of my pieces are still over at Diamond Art Club. I think has my Scarlet Time Dragon image, and hopefully they'll license more of my stuff. Love diamond art.
So you mentioned Seco a couple of times. Did you say you had a story or something related to Seco?
Oh, I do have a funny story about Seco. Okay. I would file this under one of these categories of when you don't know where life is going to take you. And this is my lesson to young people who might feel like they are struggling with their careers. Okay. Back in, okay, hold on. I got to make sure I get this timeline right because it was before I had kids. So I want to say it was maybe 2014, 2015. Oh, no, it would have been 2014 because the Jeep was part of this story. Okay.
Okay.
My long-winded story. Okay. I do conventions. So I vend at conventions. So anime cons, comic cons, sci-fi, fantasy, gothic, anything like that. Any place where my art might fit in. That's where I vend. That's where I go. That's where I've met a lot of fans. And when I was in my early days, I would do a lot of anime cons because that's what my friends did. And I tended to do like a lot of Sailor Moon fan art. Like we're talking a long time ago. And then My Little Pony fan art when the series was more popular. So I was at Anime Boston, which is a very large convention. This is before, this is my portfolio was still pretty new. This is before I met my agent. And this woman comes up to me from Seco and she hands me her business card and she looks at my art. And because I had a lot of My Little Pony fan art. Okay, story here. Another story here. Okay, so if anybody's got this puzzle of mine, the 12 mini unicorn shape puzzles, you might notice that a few of the ponies seem to look a little like, Vicki, do you know what I'm talking about? Like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Did you ever watch that show?
My daughter loved that when she was younger, and we used to watch the pony cartoons, but we also used to watch the Equestria. Did you watch the Equestria Girls?
I never watched. My daughter got into Equestria Girls. I was more like I liked the original first couple seasons of Friendship is Magic.
But yes, we watched all of that with Twilight Sparkle and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Familiar with that.
So I did a whole series. I'm going to hold this up closer because you can see this one does look a little like Applejack. Inspired by Applejack. I didn't listen to Crying Applejack. Inspired by, please, Hasbro, don't sue me. But I these really fancy versions. And Oh my gosh, I hope I don't get a lawsuit now. But art director from Seco came up to me because I had very detailed carousel art that she thought was very pretty, and she thought that the way I did my color palettes were lovely. She gives me her business card and she's like, please send me your portfolio. That was a big deal to me at the time, because even though I had gone to college for art, I had spent the past 10 years working as a graphic designer, convinced that I was no good at illustration. And that's a whole nother story. So it was very like validating to be like, wow, this nice professional company, Seco, is interested in me to do puzzles. That sounds awesome. So I sent this art director my art and I didn't hear back. And then like a
Right.
year later, I sent her my art again and I didn't hear back. Okay, the reason I mentioned my Jeep in the beginning of the story was this is 2014. I had bought my first Jeep. It was my first brand new car. Like everything else I had was like my used cars that I had in college. This was like, it was a 2014 Jeep Patriot. I was so proud of it because I had negotiated for it and I was able to put all my stuff for the conventions in it. And this is relevant. Okay, back to this little business card, little convention. Okay, let's fast forward to a few months ago. Okay, now I've had my career as a puzzle illustrator. I've done all these really cool things. I've worked with Ravensburger. I've worked with Buffalo. I have worked with Seco. Okay, and now I know those art directors. About a month or two, my poor little 2014 Jeep Patriot, it died. It rusted so badly, like the rear suspension disconnected from the frame. Like
Oh
that's
my
how
gosh.
badly. Because up in Syracuse and Rochester, we use salt on the roadways, so it destroys our vehicles on the undercarriage. So I'm going through my sad little Jeep, and I'm really tearing this thing apart, you know, going under the seats and every nook and cranny to clear it out because it was going to a salvage yard. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you know, I find that business card from like 12 years ago. I had forgotten about it and I pull it out and I've got it over in my studio and, you know, it says Seco and it says the art director's name. And I'm like, holy cow. I just talked to this art director like a month ago at a licensing show, and she is the art director I now work with, you know, when we're doing these designs. And I'm like, I had forgotten. I had just completely forgotten that one conversation that at the time it felt very demoralizing because, you know, this person was interested in me. I sent her my portfolio a couple times and it just didn't materialize at that moment. And looking
Yeah.
back, my art wasn't quite ready. It wasn't as detailed as it was, like the nugget of like what would become my art was there. And that art director could see that and recognize that, but we hadn't gotten to that point yet. So it was just such an eerie feeling to like find this business card with this woman's name. And I'm like, oh my, I did not know that she was the person I met 12 years ago. And I'm like, wow. So yeah. So that's my
Crazy.
Seco story.
That is crazy. It's funny how it all links together.
All right. I'm going through the chat now. Diamond art is my favorite hobby. Diamond art. Lovely pastry. Okay, Claire mentioned, oh, she's talking about my lanai and how it would be a lovely place to relax and be inspired. Actually, if you look at botanical garden, what is it called? This one. Oh, I forgot what we called this one. Ravensburger renamed this. This one. Just after I moved down to Florida, that's when I drew this, and it was inspired by my lanai and just like being in that outdoor space. And I made it a little fancier, and I added a fountain to it. That one came out. I think this one came out within the past year, the 1500. I think that might also be only out in the UK.
Oh, is it? I recognize the image. I didn't know it was only in the UK though.
I think so, because in order to get, maybe I'm wrong about it, but in order to, and maybe somebody can correct me. Oh no, I just dropped my, you guys can't see me. I don't know if you can see me. I just dropped my poor Stardust Scoops puzzle, and the box opened.
Oh no.
Puzzle emergency. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. Ah!
Oh no!
Okay.
There are pieces everywhere.
Yeah, cleaning up puzzle. At least it was only a 150-piece puzzle that dropped.
Oh, at least it wasn't 4,000.
Yeah, I would have been crying if it was 4,000. The reason I think that puzzle might only be with the UK team is because in order for me to get a hold of that one, I had to order it from a German website. So
All right.
I might be wrong about it. And sometimes, you know, things go through the UK team and they end up in the US anyways. And it just takes a little bit longer. I don't know. Like, even though I work with Ravensburger, it's very, I only work with the art directors and we only talk about the art. So I'm not as familiar with their business operations.
Yeah.
So I'm dropping this. All right. Hopefully I didn't lose any pieces. Oh, I did just lose 3 pieces. So sad.
Do you know how many different puzzle companies you've done art for?
I
Testing
mean, I
you
could
now.
stand here and count, and if I went through on my website, there is a tab. So if you go to rosecatcon.com, there is a puzzles tab, and I have listed every company all of my puzzles have been published with, because some of them, they've been out for so long now that they've gone through a couple cycles and they're with different companies. I mean, if you really want me to sit here, I can count them and maybe I will get them all, but it's over a dozen at this point, I think.
Right. No, you don't need to. You don't. I thought you might have the number off the top of your head, but that's fine if you don't. It was just a wee fun question for you. I don't want to take up all the questions. I'll let other people have a chance.
Oh, have you seen alligators near your house? Yes, alligators definitely live in the pond behind my house. That is not uncommon at all here. And honestly, like, the alligators are not annoying or scary or frustrating at all. They just kind of like keep to themselves. And whenever I see one, like, I want to go take a photo of it. And then my husband is always yelling at me because he's like, oh, you're going to make a bad example for our kids who are more, you know, bite-sized. Like, stay away from the gators. But, you know, generally speaking, the gators just stay to themselves. We've got a wonderful array of wildlife down here, more than I realized before we moved here. But we have gators, and they, like I said, they don't bother us. Okay, how many puzzle companies have published? Okay, so people are asking again, how many puzzle companies have published my puzzles? Tell you what, let me pull up. Okay, I guess I have to answer this question now. I'm going to make my life easier. I'm going to open up a different window here. So I've minimized the chat. I cannot see you all. I'm going to go to my website and I'm going to go to my list. Okay. Okay, so some of the puzzle companies are, sometimes my work is published with boutique puzzle companies, I will call them. So like the company, maybe boutique isn't the right word, but like, okay, the companies that tend to do the wooden puzzles, right? Like, that's more of a specialty product. So I've worked with companies like that as well. So for example, Dragon Valley, okay, I'm reading my website now. Let's see, Dragon Valley was, okay, Ravensburger, Mosaic, Seco. Oh, and now recently Tate & Co. So Dragon Valley alone has been with 4 different companies. Buffalo. Okay, so that's 5. Schmidt and Spiel, that's 6. Don't let me lose count, Vicki. 7 is Black Sea Puzzles.
That's enough
8
fingers.
is Crazy Art. 9 is Rose Art. 10 is the Alice Puzzle Group, which is, I think Bluebird falls under that. Because sometimes I like, okay, so this gets weird because sometimes I'll work with a company by their like bigger name, and I don't always know their imprints until the puzzle come out. Like Arrow Puzzle is one that I had worked with in Australia. Okay, I already lost count. What number was I on?
We
Oh
were
my,
on 10.
10. Okay, so 10. So let's say Arrow Puzzle is number 11 because that would have been Magic Study was with Arrow. Um, let's see. Okay, reading. Okay, all jigsaw puzzles would have been 12. Michezo was 13. RWB is 14. Okay, I think I already said Elise, so that's
Yeah,
fifth because
that was
that's
10.
Bluebird. Okay. So I'm on 14, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
According to my fingers.
14. Did I say White Mountain? I don't think I've said White Mountains. That's 15. Nautilus Puzzles is 16. KI Puzzles is 17. They're a really cool little Canadian company. They did the tropical owls. So that's 17. Cobble Hill was 18. I said Tate and Co. 18. And then Eurographics, 19. I think that's 19. If there is any manufacturer who I work with who I did not name, I apologize right now. It is not out of like, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't miss anyone. I'm so cautious. I used to sometimes when I would post things, I'd post the names of the companies I'd work with. But then if I forgot one, I was be worried about like insulting the art directors for the other companies because 19.
19.
I can't
Yeah.
possibly. Yeah, it's crazy.
Gosh, yeah,
19.
that's a
Okay,
lot.
there you go, guys. Hopefully, I remembered everyone. Oh, I really hope I remembered every. I think there's another wooden company that um. Why do I feel like? Oh, Nautilus. I already said Nautilus. Okay, I think. Oh, wait, and now it's going to be micro puzzles. Is going to be 20 from. Oh,
Oh,
now I
yeah.
could talk about my Backerkit campaign. Now that I'm mentioning
Yep,
micro
that's,
puzzles. But
yeah,
yeah, micro
absolutely.
puzzles will be 20. I mean, they haven't come out yet, but they will. And wow, 20. Vicki, that's crazy. Oh my
It's a
goodness.
lot, isn't it? Great, though.
20. So, all right. Oh, I'm going to answer this question, then I'm going to segue into Backerkit. Oh, unless Vicki, you want to say something? I'm just sorry. I'm taking over the conversation and just letting you
No,
puzzle.
no. Go ahead. Go right ahead. I'm just puzzling away.
Okay, I'm impressed. None of those companies have gone bankrupt. You did not do Buffalo. Wait, did I not say Buffalo? I thought I said
I thought you
Buffalo.
did say Buffalo.
Okay. Okay. Somebody said I did say Buffalo. Okay. Yeah. And Buffalo and Seco are now the same company. I don't know if everybody knows that, but they
I did
merged
not know that.
just
No, I
after the
didn't know that.
pandemic. But I think they kept a lot of their operations, their manufacturing, and their art directors separate. So they pretty much act as separate companies for the most part. But yeah, because they're all northeastern United States there, because Buffalo is out of Buffalo, New York, which is about an hour from where I used to live in Rochester. And then Seco had offices in Massachusetts, which is why I met the art director in Boston. So they're over in that region. So there's basically just a few companies I haven't worked with yet. I haven't worked with Suns Out. I haven't worked with Vermont Christmas Tree Company. Oh wait, I think I missed one. I missed Hirschner's had their own brand. I mean, they called it Puzzle Magic, but Hirschner's did their own manufacturing. So I don't think I
All
said
right.
that. I think that's what, 21, if we
So that would be
count.
21.
Gosh, it's
That's a
crazy.
lot.
So many different
That's a
puzzle
lot.
companies. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's cool though. It's fun though. I enjoy talking to the different art directors as of designing these things, and it's fun. It's
Yeah, it
wild.
must make it must add an element of interest for you having the different kind of takes on things and different specifications and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not kind of
It
always the same.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It's not like I would imagine it makes it more interesting. It's not like they're all looking for the same thing. They're all looking for something a wee bit different and you know, that must add an element of interest, I guess.
Yeah. It
Makes it less.
it always it now I've gotten to the point that because I work with so many different companies, um I think of like the image I want to create, and then I kind of target like which company is more likely to publish that sort of puzzles. And so like that's one. So, like I said, with library images, like White Mountain always comes to mind first. And as I'm saying this, I hope there's not an art director from Ravensburger saying like, but wait a minute, we like library images too. We all like library images. I have Vicki, this is difficult. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I should just stop talking about the
Sorry.
companies. But there's a different. All the companies have their preferences, and you just learn to know their preferences and just kind of go with them. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a question. Rose, can you please explain to how the Backerkit works? I subscribe to some of your options. Okay, so Backerkit, and Vicki, I don't know if you put the Backerkit link in this video. I know you had it in a previous. Oh, you did. Thank you,
I
Vicki.
think it is in there, yeah.
You're fantastic. Okay, so Backerkit is just like Kickstarter, and the purpose of Backerkit and Kickstarter and anything like that is if there's a creator who wants to make a project, but the project has some upfront manufacturing costs. You basically can do a campaign and be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how much money we need. And if we fund it, then the project is going to happen. So I'm doing a Backerkit campaign combining the Centurnia audiobooks and puzzle illustration, because I've always kind of pulled from the world of Centurnia, which is my novel series, in order to do a lot of these more elaborate fantasy illustrations. Some of them, not all of them, are tied to Centurnia. So for this project, I'm like, I really want to create an image that is 100% from the books and is actually illustrating a scene from the books, which is something I've never done. Like I keep things more vague, like this is the world and these are the characters. And I don't typically say this is an exact scene from an exact moment. So if you go on my websites, my social media, you'll see an image called the Aquarium Ballroom. And that's what my fans have voted upon. And that's the first image I'm going to draw. So at the same time, we're pre-funding the audiobooks, because if you're not familiar, audiobooks are expensive if you are actually paying your narrator up front and not using AI. And I do not want to use an AI narrator because it sounds awful. And I feel like morally that's not a good choice to make. And also, I feel uncomfortable hiring a narrator on royalty share, which is I know how some authors do it, because I feel like if you're going to be putting in, 30 hours of work to take my world and turn it into something beautiful and amazing, then I'm going to pay you for your time upfront, just the same way I'd expect to be paid as an illustrator. So I have Jamie Lynn Marcos. She is fantastic. She was the narrator for the first Centurnia novel. And she has a background in video games and commercials and advertising. And she's also worked for the Walt Disney Company as a live performer. So she has an amazing ability to really bend her voice. But she's expensive to work with. And so the whole purpose of my Backerkit campaign is I'm pre-funding the audiobooks and the novels. And we're 3 weeks into the Backerkit campaign. No, we're not 3 weeks. We're 2 weeks. We're ending it next Saturday. So we're approaching the end here. We funded within the first 72 hours. So anyone who backed and you're going for the audiobooks, the Aquarium Ballroom, or in the Micro Puzzle Trio, those are going to happen. And then within 72 hours, we hit our first stretch goal, which I released another micro puzzle image. And then within the first week, we hit the second stretch goal, which is the Whispers in the Azure novel. And for that one, everyone who backed, regardless of your tier level, you are getting that particular one for free. So if you would still like to back my project, the link is there. But like, if you're not familiar with crowdfunding, an easier way to think of it is basically like a pre-order. By pledging and saying, yes, I'm giving you this amount of money so you can make the thing happen, then I will have the funds to, with the micro puzzles especially, There's a lot of manufacturing costs upfront on that. And by doing the Backerkit campaign, I have the funds to put in the order to make the micro puzzles happen. So that's something that I'm working with that company directly and serving as art director and doing that. So my goodness, I think that was so long-winded and probably confusing. Did I
And you
explain the
just,
Backerkit thing well? Did I confuse anyone? Oh my goodness, so bad.
I think you explained that great. But just to clarify, so like the way to back it, like to support you, click the link in the description, and then there's like a whole bunch of options, tiers, I guess you can call
Yes.
them,
Yes.
levels of support that you can sort of pledge. So that's the best way to
Yeah.
to support the campaign. There's a link
Yeah.
in my description to this video. I've been putting them in all of them. So if you want to see what different tiers of support there are, you can just click it. I think it just takes you straight to it. It's quite easy to follow. So
And you have different options as far as the audiobooks versus the puzzle. So if this had not funded at all, so if nobody was interested in the project, it would have like gone nowhere, and then everybody gets their money back, and that would be it. But because we fund it, it's happening. I will say, so there's different pledge tiers too. So if you want to do just the audiobooks, that's at the $20 and the $15 level, and that's all digital. You could do that. There's puzzles. You can combine the puzzles with the audiobooks. There's just puzzles. In shipping, and I say this again and again, and it is listed on each of the listings. Shipping is calculated at the end of the campaign. And the reason they do that is so if you were to pledge one puzzle and then because we unlocked another level and another puzzle was available and you wanted to add it out, and then of course your shipping would go up. And I do caution you, if you are international, the shipping costs on those can be cool, maybe higher than some people expect if you've never ordered from a small business in the United States. So contact me ahead of time and I can calculate out your order by your address, because I don't want anybody to get like a shock at the end of the campaign and be like, oh, I don't want to spend $30 on shipping, which for some people that's fine and they're comfortable with, other people are not. And I respect that, which is why I'm like, if you have any questions, contact me. I would not be offended at all. I'd rather, nobody get a nasty surprise at the end of the campaign. So.
can I ask a question with regard to, because some of the tiers obviously include the actual audiobooks. Are they all like ebooks, like digital books, or are some of them hard copies?
So for this campaign, I only did digital. So the audiobooks are
Right.
digital. So it's downloaded and they are in a non-DRM format, which means non-digital rights management. They're literally MP3s, because I am of the philosophy that if you buy, in the olden days when you owned a CD, you just like owned it. And now you have Audible and all these other companies and your stuff is like tied to an account and this and that. I'm like, no, I'm like, if you get an audiobook directly from me, you get the MP3s and you can do whatever you would like with them. I mean, I prefer you not to pirate them, but they're available that way. The ebooks are also available. The only reason I didn't do print books is because the Saturnian novels have been out for a couple of years now. And they're available on Amazon. They're available through resellers. And I felt a little bit funny picking one price point, especially Amazon will fluctuate the price without telling me. They do what they do. And I felt weird if I'm like, okay, if I list this print book at $20 or $15, and then somebody looks at Amazon, they're like, hey, Amazon's running a sale and I could get the same thing for $13. It was just, I don't know. Vicki, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. But so I guess I was just clarifying because obviously, if it's a puzzle bundle, that would come physically, but the book,
Yeah.
if would be like a download type thing.
Yes, it's a digital. So
So
after the campaign ends, and after Jamie Lynn Marcos is done recording the audiobooks, and we've already started recording on the second novel. It's already in process, so that is happening right now, and It's quite exciting. So you're
That
going
is
to be sent a
exciting.
link to download it, basically.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
So nice and easy, and then you can keep it forever. Let's
I'm
see.
excited. I'm excited. I've pledged. I can't wait.
I really appreciate that, Vicki. Okay, so I want to go back to Marcia, who asked the question on how Backerkit works. So Marcia, did I explain that to you? Because you're the one who asked the question. You said you already signed up, and I want to make sure that I was quite clear and you didn't have any additional questions. So Marcia, if you have questions, let me know. And if anyone has questions after this, obviously you could contact me. I know, like, if you're familiar with Kickstarter and Backerkit, it's, nothing's deviating from how these campaigns are usually run. But if you're new to the whole thing, and I have many friends who they do campaigns with like enamel pins and plushies and things like that. But I don't know anyone who's done puzzles before, so I'm a little bit unique. Okay. Okay, Casper asked me, Rose, do some companies require exclusive images so you can't license to other companies? So basically the way it works is all my contracts are usually written for 3-year periods of time, and it's by territory too. So it might get confusing because some companies, so for example, if I license to Ravensburger, because they're US and UK, usually if something goes to Ravensburger, then that's it. Like Ravensburger has it globally. But then a company like Buffalo might be just the US because that's just their territory. So I could license to them. And Q Puzzles in New Zealand. I forgot, or not New Zealand, Australia. I forgot about them. Vicki, that would be puzzle company number 21.
22.
22. Yeah, 22. Oh, that's right, because I forgot about the Hirschners. 22 Q Puzzles. So because Buffalo Games won't sell directly in Australia, you might see the same image with them. And sometimes you'll have a third-party reseller who will ship globally, but it's more so based on like the territory. And then also they treat it differently if it's like a wooden puzzle. If it's like a 200-piece wooden puzzle, right? And that usually has a price point in the $60 range or higher. You can have an image license for that, and a Buffalo Games image, who that might be 1,000 pieces, that is selling at Walmart for like $15, because those are considered kind of not in competition. Like the same person wouldn't, well, they might, but it's not considered the same sort of competition if you have the expensive wooden puzzle with a low piece count versus the less expensive 1,000-piece puzzle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish Buffalo puzzles were easier to get in Australia. So expensive on shipping. Shipping drives me crazy in general. I really want
They're
to make
not
sure.
that easy to get here either.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to make sure I did answer Marsha's question. I'm going to actually message her in the chat. Marsha. She didn't respond to me yet. Okay.
She's maybe over on Backerkit.
Sure.
It is a little puzzle, Brett. I'm just having a read of the chat while you message.
Okay, go for it.
I'm impressed none of these companies have gone bankrupt. You did not do Buffalo. Oh, no, yeah, we've read that. Rose, can you please explain how the Backerkit works? Yeah. Oh, I'm quite behind here. What's your favourite animal to draw?
That is a good question. It's changed a bit over the years because I would have initially said horses and cats, and clearly my work is full of a lot of horses and cats and dragons. But there's also something fun to drawing something I don't draw as often, like the tropical owls. But like I was on an owls kick for a short period of time, mostly because one of my friends picked on me. They're like, Rose, you never draw owls, and owls are my favorite animals. And I'm like, well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a puzzle and make it like all owls. And that's where that piece had come from. I was like, I'm going to do nothing but owls. I really enjoyed actually the tortoise that is in this particular panel that you're putting together right now, Vicki. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed sitting there, and I spent like an entire afternoon researching tortoise anatomy. And I'm like, I had no idea like how crazy cool their skeletons are and how they interfuse with like the inside. It's like their shell in there is like hollow. And I was enjoying looking at all the wrinkles and creases and the texture, and that's why I over exaggerated it for this piece. And I just love, so I love just drawing animals and everything in general, because anytime that I really have to get in there in order to draw something well, you must research it. And every time I research something, I have a greater appreciation for whatever that object or item or creature is. So I'm sorry if that's kind of a non-answer as far as what's my favorite animal to draw. If I say like all of them, and then sometimes like they'll annoy, like I'll be drawing a cat and I'll be like, this is annoying. It just does not look right. And I'll be like, why am I drawing more cats? And that happens too in the opposite direction.
Butterflies. A lot of butterflies in your art.
Sam said there are some of us that will buy the same image across different piece counts of brands. Just ask Vicki makes and builds about mini me's. What is that?
Mini me's. Yes. That is what we
Oh, Vicki,
call
did I just
it.
lose your audio?
My headphones
Oh
just very
no,
briefly
I just lost the
disconnected.
audio. Did something change?
Can you not hear me? Oh, wait.
Something changed. Oh no.
Yeah. So, 1 second. All right. Am I back?
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. You're there.
Yeah, I don't. My headphones disconnected. And then they reconnected, but it didn't reconnect the mic. So, yeah, I just reset it. So I'm back
Okay.
now. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so mini me's. So basically, what that refers to is images that are smaller versions of large piece count puzzles. So, like for example, if Ravensburger decided to release a 1,000 piece version of this,
Mm-hmm.
that would be the Six Portals mini me, and
Oh,
it's just what we call them. So like
gotcha.
I'm doing a puzzle along later in the year on a puzzle called Downtown. It's a
Uh-huh.
6,000 piece Clementoni puzzle by Ciro Marchetti.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a 2,000 piece version of that image that Schmidt make. And there's a 1,000 piece version of it that Clementoni make. And we've just recently discovered, actually, Sam told me about it. There's a 250 piece Wentworth wooden puzzle of
Yeah.
that image as well. So you get a lot of the same image floating around in different companies and different piece counts and stuff. And that's what we call them, mini me's. They're not
Gotcha.
always mini though, in fairness. Some mini me's are like 3,000 pieces.
Okay. That I did not know that term. That's cool.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I quite like to do that. If I do a large piece count puzzle and there's a smaller one that exists, I like to put them next to each other because the
Yeah.
difference is just like crazy when you put the massive one next to the little one.
I learned something new.
Yeah, like sometimes they have to cut some of the image out. It depends, not always. But like there's a one called Disney Orchestra,
Uh-huh.
which Clementoni does. It's a big 13,000 piece one, and they also made a 1,000 piece panorama of it, but it like they had to cut like a lot of the bottom of it and a lot
Mhm.
of the sides and stuff. So it's a bit smaller the image, but some are just the full image, but they're just smaller.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. That's cool. Wow. 13, you said 13,000 piece was the original on that one?
On
Wow.
the Disney Orchestra, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know the image you're talking about.
That was the first large piece count puzzle I Ever did.
Yeah. That is so, I can't imagine drawing something that big. Like the 7,000 piece, that was quite a challenge to begin with.
You never know. Now that you've done this, they'll be asking you to do an 18K next or a
Oh my,
9K.
I mean, I'd say yes. So if anyone comes to me, I'd be like, yes, I would do that. I would do that.
Good.
Um,
I would love that.
yeah. I mean, really, you never know though who's in your audience because I found when I've been in different forums and chats, and sometimes I'll say something, and then an art director I'll see them in person at a trade show or whatever, and they'll mention it to me, and I'll be like, oh, you guys are listening and paying attention, which makes sense because they want to go where the puzzlers are to make sure
Exactly.
they are, hitting what the market wants.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
never know. You might have an art director or two in your fan base and you have no idea.
Well, hint, hint. We want some 9,000 and 18,000 piece puzzles from Rose, please. Just throwing it out there. Giving you more work to do, Rose.
Yeah.
As if we didn't have enough.
Okay. Okay. Just in case anyone goes, what were the down? I've been doing mini and the rebound of the 42. What time is it? We've been chatting for only about an hour. Or the time change thing really messed me up. I was before we came on the chat. Like I thought so the time change hasn't happened in the United States. For those of you who are on, and I did not realize that the entire world didn't like change their time at the exact same time. Like no idea. So
Yeah. It
okay.
takes a bit of getting used to when you're trying to schedule live streams and stuff like that. But yeah, so we went back a week ago.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a wee bit confusing, wasn't it? That because I mean, I keep forgetting. I've sort of known that we've gone back and that not everybody has, but I keep forgetting as well, and I'm like, oh yeah, time change. I keep wondering why people are confused. I'm like, oh yeah, clocks. It doesn't take much to bamboozle me.
Oh, we've got a few more questions. Uh, let's see. Kalindo said, "Would you ever consider producing puzzles under a brand name of your own?" That would be awesome. Uh, but at this point, I mean that would be the whole world of manufacturing, and that's something that is more stress than I would be willing to take on at this moment, especially. Um, I feel like the competition has suddenly increased in puzzles because you have some brands like these off brands that are, I should use these words. Um, there are some companies that use AI images and only AI images, and they have a tendency to flood the Facebook ads and things like that. And right now, there's just so much noise that I would be afraid to, take on the investment of manufacturing and creating my own puzzle company. Plus, I mean, there's so many puzzle companies. I mean, I already listed 21 that I've worked with.
Me
And
too.
so many that I haven't worked with. I do enjoy though that right now, working with Tate and Co, they give me a lot of artistic freedom. So I feel like any idea I have that wouldn't quite fit with the other puzzle companies, and usually that would be something more niche, something more Centurnia, something a little not what you typically see in puzzle images. I could go to them and I have a relationship with them at this point that they would probably say yes to most of the images I would bring to them. But their distribution is different from like a Ravensburger or something like that. Like I really, now I'm going on a tangent and I say I have more questions. What's the time? Let's see. What is the time span from original company request to completion and ready for production? Um, Most puzzle companies are like if they're going to approach me and ask me for something, usually they give me a few months, usually 3 to 6 months notice, because they know, like otherwise they wouldn't approach. They don't want to give me too short of a time frame and then end up with a garbage image. Like they understand that when they're coming to me, because I'm already working with other companies, so it's not only so like if Ravensburger came to me tomorrow and we're like, hey, let's make this 18,000 piece puzzle, Ravensburger would have the understanding that I already have contracts with other puzzle companies and puzzle art that like I'm not talking about it on social media because it's under NDA, that I have to finish that art before I can start new art. And any artist who is in high demand and good at what they do, as the art directors are approaching us, they know this already, which is why in most cases when I've been approached, they give me usually 3 to 6 months. And then once the image is completed, it might be over a year until you actually see that on store shelves. So that's a good question. I do want to jump back and make sure I did answer that question on the Backerkit campaign. And I wanted to make sure where was that one? I wanted to make sure. Oh, it was Marcia. Marcia still
Did she
hasn't said
reply?
anything, has she? Oh no, she asked the one question. I don't know if we lost her.
She might pop back. So people do. They pop in and out.
Okay. I'm like, Marcia, I answered your question about the Backerkit campaign. I want to make sure you still don't have questions. Um,
Oh, can I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead. Of course.
Um, so sorry, can I go next? So sorry. I yeah, I was going to ask you about your experience live streaming and doing a
Oh,
puzzle.
my goodness. Vicki, I tip my hat to you. I have no idea how you do what you did. Okay, so what Vicki's asking about, so about a week ago, I live streamed, I did the White Mountain Halloween library image because over in the White Mountain fan group, they asked me if I do a live stream, and I'm like, yeah, of course. So I did that, and it was so difficult just talking to silence. And I know there was a few of you who I know were in that chat because I recognized your screen names, and I thank you. And it went okay. And then what really changed was my daughter was up way later than she should have been, but she was finishing her book for her book report. And she asked me, she wanted to show me that she finished her book report. So I kind of acknowledged her. And then because she was standing there, I was like, oh, does anyone in the chat have a question for my daughter? And that started a few questions. And then I allowed her to speak, which prior to the live stream, I was like, you guys know you can't talk. Do you have that problem, Vicki? Like you tell your kids they can't talk, they can't interrupt you when you're live streaming?
Um, I um, I tell them that if they really need something, they can pop their head around the corner and just ask me. Like it's not an issue, but they don't. I wouldn't want them in front of the camera. You have to be careful with YouTube, and if there's kids in front of the camera, they have rules and stuff about comments being turned on and things like that if there's kids come into the videos. So I would try and avoid that, but they don't
Oh,
like being in front of the camera anyway, so they tend to
yeah.
avoid that.
Oh, that's so good to know. Well, thankfully for this one, my daughter, was just her voice off camera. She didn't appear because we were just showing the puzzle. And your kids are older than mine too. So like mine, I
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna say. But so anyways, it is okay. But once again, I tip my hat to you. Like everybody, Vicki makes this look way easier than it actually is. So when you're just puzzling and talking at the camera, like you just like I said, I have so much admiration for how you do this.
Thank you. It made me laugh when you said it because it reminded me when I like the first time I live streamed. Um, it's kind of a weird experience, and I'm used to it now because I've been doing it for a while. But yeah, it's definitely quite odd at first, isn't it? I used to be worried I would run out of things to say.
Mhm.
But turns out I can talk a lot, so that wasn't a problem at all.
Oh,
I need to go and watch that. I haven't watched it yet, Rose, but I would like to go and watch it.
oh, yeah.
Is it on White Mountain's channel or is it on your channel?
It's on my channel, and
Right.
I think right now I set it to like a private link. So if you have the link, you can go to it, but it's not public because I haven't sat down and rewatched the whole thing on my own. So I don't, because I was having this awkward problem in the very beginning of the video where all my tests I had oriented the camera one way, and then I didn't realize that once I couldn't figure out how to change the orientation. So I was in portrait mode instead of landscape mode, and that was
Yeah.
not my intent. I couldn't figure out how to flip it, and I was like, so like the first 5 or 10 minutes is me being super awkward about that, and I'm like, what I'd like to
I
do is download the whole thing and then edit it and re-upload it and cut out that obnoxious part in the beginning.
I know that's the thing with lives.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't edit first, but I mean, oh, you just ask my audience, they'll tell you there's usually some kind of technical glitch that goes on in my live streams. Um, when I first started, it was because you're dealing with computers.
Yeah.
They they have a tendency to go wrong when I'm around. So if it's not the screen, it's the sound. If it's not the sound, it's something else. But yeah, no, you get more used to it. Do you think they'll ask you to do more?
Probably. I'm guessing. I mean, there were a nice. I think we had like about a dozen people in the chat. I might. I'm just questioning if right. I am so energy depleted. I don't know about the rest of you, but for me, fall, October, if you have kids, it's just like one thing after another. And then my kids have their birthdays in the beginning of the month. And then I decided to do this Backerkit campaign in the middle of the month. And I'm just like, I'm and the Backerkit campaign, you've got to put a lot of energy into marketing. And I don't like
Mm.
marketing because I feel like I'm like being like, please buy my thing. And I hate that. I'm not here to sell. I'm here to like draw fun things. And then if people want to buy the fun things, well, that's awesome. And I appreciate that. So I don't know, long and short of it, if I do another live stream, it's not going to be for another like month or so because I need to find my energy reserves
Mm.
again because they're
I get
lost.
that.
Is done. I'm just done.
I find this time of year I have low energy anyway, just because of the change of season, you know? Like, well, here in the UK anyway, it gets cold really rapidly, and I don't know. It's like you go into hibernation mode.
I gotta say, I don't have that problem anymore. I used to in New York because it would get very gray, very cold. The temperatures would often be below freezing.
Mm.
It would be like dark and bitter. But here in Florida, it is the opposite. It's like everybody's excited to be out. I do more running than I do the rest of the. And I'm a person. I go for a daily run. Like I need that to reset myself. But and then it's always bright and sunny, so I don't get seasonal depression like I used to in New York. So,
Mm.
but with this time of year though, you have like the holidays, going into Thanksgiving season, going into Christmas season, so that also is very draining, especially if you're a parent. It's just like a
Oh,
lot,
absolutely.
so much.
Absolutely. My son came in this morning and he said, "Oh, by the way, Christmas has started now." I was like, right,
No.
that's how it is here. As soon as Halloween's over, right, it's Christmas now. Okay. So
Oh my.
I guess it's already here for us.
Oh, you're almost done with that sky.
I know.
Get out there.
Just been squirreling away at it. This has come together a lot um, more smoothly than I thought it would. I thought I was gonna struggle with some of these lines, but no, it's going great. It's going
Yeah.
great, and I'm filling in. I think I've got a few of these bits missorted, possibly with the green portal, because there are
Mhm.
some bits of blue sky in that portal, and I've got bits of blue here, and I'm certain I don't have them all. So I might have to come back and do some gap filling later on. But yeah, I'm getting there with the top half of this portal. It's coming together nicely.
I'm really looking forward to when you rotate that mountain bit and connect it on the bottom and it comes together.
This bit, yeah, my board isn't big enough for that, unfortunately. So But what I'll probably do at some stage is transfer this to a bigger board,
Mhm.
and then I can show it together. This is the thing, because my screen real estate, if you like, on a live stream doesn't get much bigger than this. So I tend to have to build large piece counts in sections.
Mhm.
But I will probably transfer this to a bigger board at some point, and then I can add this on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming together really nice. These are all my edge frame pieces. So I'm just having a go at those. It's nice because I can pick out the lighter ones. They're lighter at the top and in the middle. So it's working. It's working for me, Rose. It's good.
Good. I'm so glad you're enjoying. Oh, this is cool. All right, we have a few more questions in the chat. Okay, Slitherpuff. That sounds like a Harry Potter fan. Do you ever get sick or have burnout with drawing? I do. Well, okay, I'm cautious with the answer. I generally don't. I feel like there's not enough hours in the day to draw. I always want to be drawing more. I will say though that sometimes I will get frustrated with a specific area of something, and that's usually trees, tree leaves. I'll be like, why? Why did I do a tree and decide to do it this detailed? And I'll try to make my life easier. Like I'll do a set of leaves. Like I'll do 15 different leaves and I'll like research how the leaf looks for whatever. And like this one, for the fall panel of this one, I did this and I made a set of leaves and then I would copy paste, but then distort the leaves according to how the light would be hitting them. And then I'd go in with different color, but still that gets like very monotonous. So like leaves drive me nuts. So I'll get burnout of leaves. Or I used to get annoyed with dragon scales, but now I do them so quickly and I have a method of highlight and shadow that they're usually, I'll have something I'll like certain drawing I do, I have to focus and it takes all of my brain power. So I won't have on an audiobook or a podcast and I'll just be focused. So when I'm like, when I was drawing the turtle for this and I was researching turtles and I was not familiar with tortoises, I had to like 100% pay attention. But if I was doing like dragon scales, like that's just like I know how to do them. I know how to do the highlight and the shadow, and I don't have to think about them anymore. Same with now, I draw crystals without thinking about it. So I would say to answer your burnout question, and the thing is, I prevent myself from having burnout by switching up what I do. So like the library images, though libraries right now are very popular and it would probably be wise of me to draw more libraries. When you draw, I have my books be very visible by the spines, and every spine is different, which is how you could tell my art different from AI generated art. Because if you look at AI generated art, you'll see all these like squiggles and garbage that just doesn't make sense and drives me nuts.
Mhm.
And for me, if I'm drawing a book, I'm gonna grab this one up here. This was the Found It one, right? So there's a library image, and oh, it's a little dark in this print. But I make sure that every book is, I'm gonna pull this out. So this is Jesse and Nico from Centurnia. So this is a very specific group of characters. And every single book is different. And if you look closely, the titles are different. So I have like Victor Hugo in there and Isaac Newton and those sorts of things. But after a while, like if I do an image like that, I'm like, I don't want to draw books again for at least another month. Like I don't want to look at books. So I'll switch over. And as soon as I finish that image, the next image I switch to, I was like, I'm going to do a forest scene, because in forest scenes, you can have a little bit more fun with the foliage. You can go crazy with things in the sky. If there's an area you got to fill, you could throw in a butterfly. So I switched. So I know I've been doing this so long that I know where my shortcomings are and I know where I get frustrated. So I try not to put myself in a position where I'm going from a library to another library image. However, if Ravensburger approached me and we're like, hey, Rose, do an 18,000 piece library, I'd be like, yes, Ravensburger, of course, you know. Okay, who else? Let's see. Like if Ravensburger wanted to make an 18K with the art, it could take well the 2 or 3 years before any of us would see it. Yes, and that is true. And I would also probably usually when I do Ravensburger, like you wouldn't know that I was doing it. It would be like there's a certain point where, and it depends on the piece, it depends on the art director, when I'm allowed to publicly announce what the art is, depending on it. It's not a Vicki stream if the autofocus doesn't break. I'm a Grinch.
It's not Vicky's dream if the autofocus doesn't break. My autofocus has been great since I got the new camera.
Oh, somebody wanted to know. Okay, they're saying, how long did Rose spend on drawing these details? That was Gustin who asked that. I need to go back and see what my time, because I do track how long a lot of my pieces take me. Usually a piece will take me anywhere between 70 and 100 hours for like a standard 1,000 piece puzzle. So I would guess with this piece, it might have been around 300 hours for me to draw the whole thing. And remember, if you're not familiar with this story, I was doing that when my son was a newborn. So basically, every single nap he would have, as soon as he fell asleep, I would like grab the iPad. He'd be like cuddling on top of me. And I'd have this tray table, and he'd fall asleep in my lap. And he was the type of newborn that you couldn't, if I moved him to the crib, forget it. It would be like game over. So he'd be on my lap, and I'd have a tray table, and I'd pull the tray table over him, and then I'd pull the iPad on top of the tray table. So it'd be like this little sandwich, and I'd be like drawing, and he'd, sleep a good hour or two, and I just would not move. And so that was a lot of the creation of this puzzle. So that's why I'm like, I really don't know how many hours it took me, because it was so disjointed between May and October, May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months, but broken up. And then occasionally, we'd have a babysitter, or my husband would take the kids out, and I'd have like a good couple hours to work as a chunk. Or when my son would go to sleep and all 3 of my kids were asleep, or I'd wake up before the kids got up. And then, so it was a lot of anytime I had free time, and I was not working on any other puzzle designs when I was doing 6 portals. It was just 6 portals. I wasn't writing Centurnia during the time. It was just any spare minute was 6 portals. So like I said, I think it was at least 300 hours to do the whole image, but it was probably more. Let's see.
That's going to be a funny conversation when your son's older. It's like, oh, I drew most of this on top of your head while you slept.
You do what you gotta do.
I know. Oh, I definitely get that, taking advantage of the naps. I totally get that.
Ravensburger is such a big company. I'd be surprised if they didn't do NDAs. Yeah, they do NDAs. But then sometimes what happens is like I'll have an image already out in my portfolio, and a puzzle company will be like, oh, we're going to license that, or an image will already be out, and then somebody else will pick up the license on that. So like the Ravensburger 2000 piece Dragon Valley was after that license expired. Seco did it in 1,000 piece, and it was on the shelves for like about a year or so. So sometimes an image is just simply already visible. So then like an NDA wouldn't really happen. It would just be like, oh, look, it's out in a different piece count with a different brand. Do you get to set the price for an original puzzle, or is it based on sales? So I have nothing to do with pricing when it comes to any of the puzzle companies. It's like they do their own thing. The royalties they pay me vary based on company. And that's the thing. Like illustrators in my industry, we are royalty based. So like the better a puzzle sells, the more I get. And the royalty is tiny. It is itty bitty. But it adds up, and like it's very similar to the authors and books and whatnot, and that's what makes it profitable. It's like when you have a lot of images out with different puzzle companies, but like a single artist wouldn't be able to pay rent off of like one image. Well, you might be able to, depending on the image, but I think I just went on a tangent there.
Well, I think that's related.
But like I like to explain this so people understand when artists are getting upset about AI images taking work from us. It's because we don't have. It's not like I'm getting health insurance from any of these puzzle companies because I'm in the United States,
Mm,
right? And we don't actually have a healthcare system that is publicly funded. Um,
yeah.
so I don't have like my health insurance through these puzzle companies. I don't have a 401k. I don't have a stable paycheck at all. I'm a freelancer. And
Mm,
part of the reason I'm able to do what I do is because my husband has a full-time position that has the stability that allows me to be able to be, it's very feast or famine with how this works. So when an artist gets upset that these companies are taking our artwork and AI-ifying them, it really does hurt us. And because like I said, we're royalty based. So um, my financial well-being is very much tied to all of these companies that you see behind me. So
yeah. No, I totally get that.
yeah.
I can see why that's. Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, somebody was asking me, do
Uh,
I get a set price for an original puzzle or is it based on sales? So I get a cash advance based on what the company thinks. And it also depends. That advance will vary based on the company and the piece count. And there's just a bunch of different factors. So I do get that money upfront. And if the image sells or not, thankfully what is that random noise? Oh, I think my little power thingy just started making noise. Sorry,
what
I got distracted here. I'm like charging my
tech
iPhone.
issue on your end?
Is that making noise? Oh, it was that. Okay, sorry. I just got weird because I'm charging my phone right now. I have this little Jackery power unit, and I did not know it had like a little fan in it, and the fan just turned on because I think it's been on for so long, and I did not expect.
Right,
I got distracted. Sorry, guys. I'm just
that's all
honestly,
right.
yeah,
That's fine. When machinery starts to make random noises, that worries me as well. Gosh, time flies. I can't
yeah.
believe we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes.
My goodness. I don't know. My family might appear at some point because I turned off my notifications on my phone, so I don't know when they're coming back. So if they do
And
appear, I will make a very hasty exit. But for now, I could still keep chatting.
so are they, did you say they were at Disney? You left them at Disney or something?
I left my family at Disney World.
Yeah,
It's just, I know, crazy.
there's
So
worse places to be left, I'd say.
I know, I just like abandoned them all in Animal Kingdom. I was like, see you guys later. Mommy has a chat to do. So yeah, so my husband works for Disney here in Orlando. And today they had a preview. So they're in Animal Kingdom, they used to have an attraction that was based on Bug's Life. And it's like this 3D show that has like all the effects like water and smoke and things like that. And they rethemed it to Zootopia. And whenever they have a new attraction, they do cast member preview. So cast is what Disney calls all their employees, regardless of what you do within the company. And so basically in the weeks before they publicly open the attraction, they allow their cast members and their families to come and experience the attraction, and they do fun little things. So today was the cast member preview for the new Zootopia attraction. So I went with my husband and we drove in two separate cars. And after the attraction, I was like, well, I have to go chat with Vicki. So I'm going to see you guys later. And I just left them and drove home. And here I am.
Well, they
It's
must be
Disney.
enjoying it if they're still there.
I hope so. I hope so. Is Disney World Florida? Yeah. So Disney World is Florida. Disneyland is California. And California was the first one and it's littler. And Disney World is the huge one. It's like two Manhattan size. There's four parks. So you have Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Disney's Animal Kingdom. You have two water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. Then you have Disney Springs and a few other little attractions in there, like the World of Sports and things like that. And then you have like over 20 hotels that are full resorts, and that is Disney World, and that is 25 minutes from my house. So yeah, it's huge.
That's just amazing. And you get I would imagine with your husband working for them, you get free entry and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. Not
So
gonna
that's
lie.
pretty
I'm
cool.
grateful. I'm not trying to, I don't want to brag. I'm grateful. As someone who grew up loving Disney animation, I have just like nothing but like pinch me. I feel like I'm living in a fantasy world right now. And I'm so, so grateful to have this opportunity. Let's see. Somebody has a question for you, Vicki. What do you do to relax besides puzzling? And are you still teaching dance lessons?
Oh, what do I do to relax besides puzzling? So I enjoy playing games. I've got a PlayStation now. I enjoy playing computer games when I get the time. Um, I don't know because I spend so much time doing puzzles. So, but I do puzzles on a leisurely basis as well, though. Like I don't just film them. Like I'll sit and do one on my lap through in the lounge or something. I also enjoy Lego, and I do still do some Lego on occasion. I used to do cross stitch years ago, but I don't have time to do that now, unfortunately. But yeah, I've always been into kind of building things, really, I guess you could say. That's where my channel kind of started. Dancing. Yes, I teach dancing twice a week. Twice a week at the moment. So I'm a ballroom and Latin dance teacher.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it's
That's awesome.
little known fact about me. I'm a ballroom and Latin dance teacher, so I've been dancing ballroom and Latin since I was, I don't know, about 8 or something.
Mhm.
And then um, I took some professional exams and started doing some teaching, and it's been um, the best way to describe it is it's been kind of a string to my bow for many years, and I don't always do it consistently, but I've always been able to come back to it. And at the moment, I just have a wee group of people that I teach. I have like a class on a Monday night of couples that I know very well. I've known them a good few years, and I teach them. And then on a Wednesday, I teach line dancing. So that, though, is quite new. Um, Line dancing, I've never really properly taught before, so it's a bit of a learning curve for me, that one. But it's really fun. It's really fun. Quite tiring, but fun. So yes, in answer to your question, and I do that to relax as well, but that's more something I do socially just while I'm out and about teaching, I guess. Um, but it's another form of relax of It's another hobby, I guess. It's not relaxing per se. It's quite cardiovascular, but it's fun. It's fun. So thank you for the question. I would like to do a dancing related puzzle at some point. Do you have any puzzles with dancers, Rose, in your
So
repertoire?
just so happens that if we funded the Dance at Watersglade, which is that one that takes place in the underwater casino ballroom, which is a scene from Saturnia, Mark of the Castle. That
Yeah.
will be the dance floor and quite an elaborate image. But that one we haven't funded yet. We have to hit the $4,800 mark on that one for me to be able to release that. Even if it doesn't fund, I eventually want to draw that image because I quite, as far as the story of the novel goes, I quite enjoy that piece. But we'll see what happens. So like part of the reason I'm doing, because I know people have asked me, like, if you're drawing what you want to draw all the time, like, why don't you just draw what you want to draw and draw Saturnia images? Because the thing is, I have to think about what's marketable and what is most likely to be licensed by a puzzle company. And I have to like manage my time. So as much as I'm sitting here saying, okay, as soon as I finish the aquarium gown, I totally am going to start dancing or drawing the dance at Watersglade. I can't until we have the pre-funding on it because that image is probably less likely to be licensed by many puzzle companies because it has so many people in it. Because some puzzle companies, they don't like, they won't, how do I say this? They prefer licensed characters from larger entities. So like you'll see tons of Disney princesses, right? But you're less likely to have a character from an unknown entity. And I mean, certainly it happens because obviously, like I've had quite a few published, but it's not as easy. So this is why I don't draw puzzles with people because they don't license as well. But anyways, going back to your initial question, hopefully we can either fund it, and if we can't fund it, hopefully I will be able to have the time in my schedule early next year to work on it, even if we don't fund it through the Backerkit campaign. I hope that makes sense to people and I'm not going on a huge tangent.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I do have a plan at some point in the nearish future to do a dance themed puzzle video,
Yeah.
and just kind of mix in the dancing and the puzzle to the dancing I do and perhaps have a little bit of footage of that and stuff. I would like to do that at some point. I just haven't got around to it yet, unfortunately. I've had
See,
so
now that
many
I know
ideas.
this about you, once we do eventually draw this image, I might have to ask you for like reference photos, or I might have to show you my sketches. So you could be like, if you're seeing things in the images that you're like, oh, that's not quite as realistic, or oh, why didn't you try this pose or position with your characters? I might have to ask you these questions.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love that. I'll be the dance consultant.
Yeah. That's
I would
awesome.
love that.
Dancing
Oh,
dragon.
brill. Right, gosh, I'm slowing down a bit now because I think I've done most of the frame up here. So I'm now mostly on this bit,
Mhm.
and I'm running out of room on the board. So, I mean, maybe I can. What time are we on? We're not at 11 yet. Maybe I can start some of the bottom half of the portrait.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
exciting.
I can maybe even start on the wee tortoise. Why not? I do have a pile of tortoise pieces.
Mhm.
So if my sorting is any good, then then hopefully I can put a wee bit of them together. Right, that's fine. Shall shift all these off. Really pleased with this though.
Mhm.
It's come together really nicely.
So now at this point, do you think you're going to still like live stream the whole thing? Are there sections you're thinking you might do off, like not on the live stream at this point?
No, usually I'll do the whole thing on the stream. The only time I'll do some off-stream stuff is if I'm like just finishing a wee section off and I want to start a new bit next time, but there's only a little bit to go, if you see what I mean. So I might do it off the camera then, and I tend to do sorting off the camera,
Yeah.
so I'm not just rummaging around pieces kind of on the live stream. But for the most part, the whole thing gets built on the live. So yeah. Um, and then what I usually do when I finish a large piece count puzzle is I'll have like on the day that I finish it, I'll have the main live stream and then I'll have like a shorter one after where I'll clear all the table and I'll lay the whole thing out and put it all
Mhm.
together and then I'll just use my phone and live stream the whole thing together
Mhm.
so people can see the whole thing together. So that's how it's worked so far, although I don't think a 7,000 piece will fit on my board. So I'm
Oh,
not entirely certain how I'm going to do it with this one yet, but I will
it's
figure
4 feet,
something out.
4 by 6. So
It's what, sorry?
4 feet by 6 feet is the final on that.
Yes. I think my table's gonna be just a wee bit short, but I'll need to measure it. My table will fit a 6,000 piece Clementoni,
Mhm.
which are larger than average 6,000 piece puzzles. So it might fit on overlap a bit. Um, if I tape it or something, I might be able to fit it on and it'll overlap slightly. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll definitely figure something out. Right, I need to put this underneath. And now I have it the right way. These, I believe, go on the bottom, these bits. So I've pulled those down.
Yeah.
And then what I've got here is my other sort of piles. So this, I think, is the tortoise, but I do have. Wait a minute. No, this is the tortoise. Let's try the tortoise.
There's a lot more details in that section because I have all the little succulents and then the little what's it called? I know I have insects in there.
Yeah, I've got a pile for succulents. That's this pile here. Um, and then this is like I don't know what you call it, boardwalk thing. It's like a little wooden
Yeah.
platform that it's standing on. So that's some of those pieces, although I don't think that is. I'm not sure. Do you know where that bit goes? You can do your
Wait.
little puzzle piece recognition game.
Okay, yeah. Hold on. You got to hold it up because remember there is a. So I'm no longer seeing your video feed on the Ninja thing. So I'm only seeing your video feed on the screen, and there is a 20-second delay. Okay,
That's all
now
right.
I'm
I'm
seeing
just
you hold that up. Next time you hold it up, you have to hold it up. So now I'm seeing it this moment, but you're gonna have to get even closer to the camera. Why does that look like? Oh, you know what? That's the bridge in the background. I think that's the background bridge, is what you're showing me.
so
Okay, now I
this.
gotta grab my. I'm gonna go grab my poster. I am 90% sure you're showing me the bridge. I'll be right back.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's a castle, but at first I thought it was an airship. That's why I put it in this pile because I thought it belonged to one of the airships, but I don't think it is. I think it's the background,
Oh, you're
either
right.
of
Maybe
that.
it is an airship. Let me look again.
I don't think it is the airship because I've done most of those, but I'm wondering if it's the castle in the autumn section.
Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, you know what? You might be right about. Yeah, like the bottom part, because the bridge, I actually did the slats much closer together.
Yeah.
Wow, I put a lot of stuff in under that little tortoise. I got my lizards carrying cakes and my gemstones. So with this
Oh,
piece,
is
I
that
don't know
what
if
they're
I set it
carrying?
on. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is that what they're carrying? Cakes? I can't
Yeah,
see.
I
I
think
can't
in
see.
this one they're carrying cakes. Yeah, they're carrying cakes. Let me look again.
That's so cute. I can see they're carrying something. I just can't see what it is. It's my poor
No,
eyesight.
actually is on a lighter scene. Really, I think it's one of the airships. Jeez, I shouldn't put
Have
that.
I stumped you?
Maybe.
I don't think it belongs in this portal anyway. I think I've missorted it, but it was just sitting there in the box
I haven't
on
looked at
its
this
lonesome.
image in like over a year. Like, yeah, so I would have been drawing this when Leo was less than 6 months old, and he's almost 2 now.
Oh
It's been
my
a while.
gosh.
It's been a while. I'm looking again.
So the shell was quite easy to pick out
Yeah, I did a nice little
because
pattern. I'm patting myself on the back for that, the pattern of the
of
shell.
the lines and everything on it.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
So under the tortoise, you have this little family of those 5 lizards carrying cakes. So I first drew the lizards carrying cakes in this one dragon. Okay, I'm gonna be careful now that I don't drop things. The Dragon Valley, or no, not Dragon Valley, Dragon's Garden. Oh my goodness, it was like
Ah,
right in the bottom, the 3 of them, and then I put them in a few other pieces so people have commented upon them. And that's why I put them. So with the portals, what I did, because I had just had my son, so my family had become a family of 5, and this was important to me. So every
yeah.
one of the portals, you have a family of 5. So you have the ravens in the first portal, and then in the second portal, you have the little lizards carrying cakes. So you have a set of 5 of them. In the third one, you have the sandhill cranes. So if you're not familiar with sandhill cranes, their babies look like those little fluffy rotisserie chickens. So these are the 3 babies of
Ah,
these 2. And we have them in Florida, and I have them in my backyard, and I love them. They're like crazy little dinosaur birds. And
fluffy
then
rotisserie chicken.
they really, oh my gosh, they are so cute when I see the babies, and they usually have them in groups of 2 or 3 if they're very lucky, and they're adorable. They're these fluffy little, oh my gosh, they're ridiculous, and I love them, and I feel so special whenever I see them in the backyard. Let's see. So in the third portal, you have the family of the 5 fish, but then you also have the original Dragon Valley family in the background. So you have 5 of them. And
All
then
right.
there is the 5 cats, the Feltrini cats, those cats with wings in the winter scene. And then I did the frogs, the little, I call them jamel toads. They're the ones from Saturnia. So they're like, there.
Cool. That's an interesting wee
Yeah.
Easter egg.
Yeah. Oh, want another Easter egg, even though you haven't gotten it to yet. In the winter panel, okay, this is for my daughter. You'd appreciate this. I have on the little sleigh, you have this brown bear, this white chicken, this blue bunny, and this red fox. They look suspiciously like the characters from Five Nights at Freddy's if they were cutified. So I drew that for my daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The weirdest.
Brilliant.
Let's see. It's from the castle on the orange portal. Okay, Rose, something I have to compliment about this puzzle is it's quite possibly one of the easiest puzzles to sort I have ever done. It's so easy to find the whereabout piece. Well, you're welcome. I tried. I was trying to make it a fun experience.
It
You
is a
know,
good puzzle to solve.
thank you. It really is. It's a lot of thought that goes into creating an image like this, and it takes time to be able to get into this mentality. So I'm a fantasy illustrator, but this is my specialty area, and there's other types of fantasy illustration I would not be able to do. There's some of my friends who are fantasy illustrators. If you ask them to design a puzzle, it's a certain type of thinking as you're approaching the image to think like a puzzler thinks. And I like my images to be fun and enjoyable and full of texture and color and deliberacy in how I'm putting things together. Like, so
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Let's see. It's nice to know about your family of 5 everywhere. Yeah. Oh, I should tell. the story of Dragon Valley and my family and the original. Do we have time for a big long story about? What do you think, Vicki? Or should I save it for next time? Story of
Half an
actually, I don't know.
hour?
Are you inviting me back? I'm just inviting me.
Is it? Is half an hour long enough? I'd say we'd go about another half hour.
Okay, okay. I'm going to tell the story about my family and Ravensburger and why it's very cyclical and important to me, and why that dragon family is important. And okay, long story here. Let me take a deep breath. Let me sip my tea. Okay. My story of how I became a puzzle illustrator. All right. And it all centers around this piece behind me. So that's the Dragon Valley 2000 piece. Let's rewind the clock to 2017. I have my daughter, Cadence, who she's 2 years old. I'm pregnant with my son, Enzo. And I am diagnosed with a brain tumor. And this, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. It's a vestibular schwannoma, which is a tumor that is on the nerve that connects your ear to your brain. It's the vestibular cochlear nerve. It is responsible for hearing and balance. And so it's not technically on my brain itself, but it's one of the main nerves that feeds the brain. And it's also pressing on my brainstem and like all this other stuff. And now to put this in the timeline, this is before I was a puzzle illustrator. I had just started working with my agent, and some of my fantasy art had been put into cross stitch. I was more of I'm an art teacher, and I was managing a summer camp program through a large university. It's an art and technology summer camp program, and this is important to the story. So that's what I was doing primarily. So that was my teaching was more of my full-time position, and I was just starting to have my licensed art appear in cross stitch and figurines, and it was mostly like the dragon art at the time. So with the type of brain tumor I had, it is typically not malignant. It is typically slow growing, but it's still like not a good thing to have in your head. So I had to wait until after my son was born in October of that year. And I had to wait about a month before I could undergo treatment, because you can't breastfeed if you're doing treatment for this type of tumor, because it's 30 doses of radiation, and then the medication you're on for it is actually really nastier than the radiation itself. So all that happens. We go through the holiday season, and I'm kind of at a low point at that, because I'm dealing with the side effects of, having my brain radiated. I have this newborn. I have a 2-year-old. And at that time, I was like laid off from my job. And that really hurt, because I absolutely loved what I was doing. It was basically like a contract. I mean, if they tell you it's like a contract non-renewal is what they had decided to do while I was taking my maternity leave. So I was very, very upset about that, because typically with the way my job had worked, that as soon as January, February came around is when we really geared up to prepare for that next summer's program. So I was devastated, and I basically told myself, okay, this is the time I was going to spend preparing for the summer camp program. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this time and I'm going to go back to my roots, and I'm going to draw unicorns, because that's who I was. When I was a 3rd grader, one of the first things that I started to learn how to draw horses and unicorns. So I was like, let me just do this. And if I can draw unicorns, I'll be okay. And this is what I'm telling myself, because I'm on these very powerful steroids that are used to control the swelling of the brain post radiation. So it was pretty rough. And once again, newborn and 2-year-old, which under normal circumstances is a very frustrating situation for a young mother to be in. And then you're throwing this being laid off on top of that, and then the radiation and the prescriptions in order to manage that. So I throw everything into drawing a piece, and the art that I produced was this image here, Twilight Marketplace, which I had up to that point, I had never drawn anything this elaborate. I hadn't even considered working in the puzzle industry, except for that one conversation I had from that art director at Seco like 2 years prior. I just drew this purely to like prove to myself if I could still draw, I'd be okay, because I didn't know the effects of radiation on my brain because everybody is different. So I like
Yeah.
threw everything into this. And also my anger, because I was very upset that I was let go for the position. What happened is my previous supervisor, who I loved and had worked with for years, she retired. And so when the new
Uh,
supervisor came in, they were like, okay, let's see how we can cut costs. And that's why I was booted from my position. So I drew this. Several months passed. May rolls around, and my agent was going to a licensing show, so a business to business, a B2B show in New York City called Surtex, Surface Texture. So typically, more the people who went to Surtex were people who were interested in licensing art for stationery and giftware and that sort of thing. I'm at that show, and Andrea Leahy, who was one of the art directors for Ravensburger at the time, she comes up to me. She sees Twilight Marketplace. She's like, I love this. This is awesome. Like, clearly you could design something that's elaborate enough for puzzles. But at the time, they were
yeah.
looking for something with more dragons. Because I think they needed to like build out their fantasy line. And she's like, and she saw I had my time dragon art. She's like, can you do the time dragons, but do something as elaborate as this? And I'm like, yes. I just say yes. I'd never drawn it. And she's like, I need a 2,000 piece puzzle design. So it's got to be 36 inches, right? I've never drawn anything that big in my life. But of course, I said yes.
That's
So I
good.
go home and I'm like, and I'm still, remember, I'm still at this point that I've got the newborn who is now more of a infant. My 2-year-old, wrecks my house all the time. She's chaos and energy, and she's lovely, but she's a 2-year-old. And I feel like I'm still trying to figure out who I am post radiation. And I spent the next several months, I'd hire babysitters, or my neighbor would volunteer to watch my kids. And at the time I was drawing more in Photoshop. So I was really glued to my desk in order to do these images. And I don't know how, like I sent Andrea my sketches on Dragon Valley, and she approved them, and she had some wonderful suggestions because she was the first art director I'd worked with in the puzzle industry. And she kind of coached me on how to think of designing the puzzle in image. And I already had the inclination to draw an image in that style, but she really helped me learn kind of the ins and outs and the things I had to consider when you're doing puzzle illustration versus other types of illustration. So I worked that entire summer, and I think it was probably around September, October that the final images were due to them. So that was very meaningful and emotional to me, because it
Absolutely.
was me saying I was okay. And then, because as you can see, this Twilight Marketplace image did make it to print, but that was with Buffalo. A few months after that, I take this image and a bunch of sketches. And because Buffalo Games had seen what I did for Ravensburger, and they're like, okay, that art director at the time was really big into dragons and really big into images that told a story. And he asked me to do, that's when I did Dragon's Garden. Then they licensed the image that the Twilight Marketplace image. And then they had me do Dragon's Race into the Night, Autumn Castle Festival, and Magic Study. And that was when those puzzles came out, is the beginning of the pandemic. And of course, that's when puzzles just exploded.
Of
And
course.
that
Yeah.
just that chain event. So that's it. So that's the story. And that's why for Ravensburger coming to me now that I had my third child, it felt like kind of coming full circle
Full
in a
circle.
way, through this journey. So that's my story.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, doing all that when you've got tiny kids and oh yeah, I can only imagine. Are you fully recovered like now from that? Is like
Um,
everything clear on that now?
Yes and no. So like the tumor once again is benign, has always been benign. So it's not like it's going to kill me, probably not. But it's still in my head. It's still pressing on my brain side. So I have the type of tumor that you could choose between radiation and surgery,
Hmm.
based on the size and location. And if I had chosen surgery, I would have lost all of my hearing, and there was other side effects. I would have been unable to walk for a while because my balance would have been impacted. And sometimes when people have that surgery, it impacts your ability to like close your eyes. They sometimes lose their ability to have tears or feeling or motion, if the motor nerves of the face are hit in that type of surgery, it could have really devastating impacts that way. So I
Oh
chose
gosh.
the research behind the radiation seemed like it was, I mean, and it has different side effects too. So the tumor is in there, it's toasted. I have it MRIs every year, so I know it's reduced in size and it's
Mm.
dead. I have some hearing in this very, it's not serviceable. I can't have a phone conversation on my right ear, but I can hear low tones.
Yeah.
But my nerves on this side of my face are a little messed up. And the funny thing is, it was because when they started healing a couple of years after radiation, it's like they're rewiring themselves in funny ways. So there was a period of time where I'd
All
like
right.
touch my ear here and feel it in my tooth, or touch my lower lip and feel it in my upper lip. And it changes every couple months. And my neurologist says that's basically my brain is rewiring itself, and maybe it'll settle, maybe it won't, we don't know. But I'm grateful and I'm happy and I'm glad I'm alive and I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, but it was quite a journey.
Yeah. Gosh, I bet. I bet. Well, that's so amazing though that you like I love, that part of the story where you went and you drew, the unicorns and you were like, right, I'm gonna go and do this and that was you. You know what I mean? That was what you wanted to draw. Not what somebody else wanted you to draw or anything like that. It was I like that. I like it's like that was the direction that you had to go that ultimately got you where you wanted
Yeah.
to be, which is so good. Oh, well,
Right.
thank you for that story.
Oh, well, thank you for allowing me to share it. I know it's a little dark, but a happy ending. And I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Come back to the 5A. Hated radiation. Yeah, radiation. It's tough.
Yeah,
But I
it's
hope
pretty
Slither
invasive.
Puff you're doing better, because it's a journey.
So I could fully charged my headphones. Like literally they'd finished charging. They were still plugged in right before I came in here to do this, and they're telling me that there's low battery. So I may need to try using different headphones maybe next time because these ones don't think they like being used as headphones and a microphone. I think that's what's like killing. But they're only like bog standard headphones, so it's not like they're not super expensive or anything like that. So I may need to use my other ones next time. But if I suddenly disappear, that's why. Because
Yeah.
my
I
headphones
think
don't.
we're at a point where I might have to wrap up, because I think my family has been deliberately staying away. Well, I know they have been
Oh,
staying
have
away.
they?
Yeah. Oh, I'm seeing more
They're all
comments.
standing on the porch. Come
Yeah.
in.
Sounds like
Oh,
unicorns were actually a phoenix. Yeah, that's quite appropriate. Yeah. Personal story. 6 years cancer free. Congrats, Slither Puff. Like, it's
yeah,
cancer.
absolutely.
Like I said, it's tough. You're being vulnerable and
It's
sharing your story with us.
No, I really appreciate that. Thank you. You've been so open about everything. It's been really lovely to hear your stories.
Ah,
Wow. Okay, well, so shall we start to wrap things up then? Do you
sounds
think? All right. Well, okay. In terms of the puzzle,
Mhm.
I have done most of this frame up at the top
Yeah.
and filled in
Oh
a good
wow,
bit of that
how fast
sky.
the tortoise came together. I feel like I blinked and like, wow.
Well, I've got a big bit of the shell and some of its face. But I've not. I've got some pieces that are missorted elsewhere, so I've got kind of bits of the tortoise. But yeah, that's come together nicely, and I've put together a few of the succulents.
Mhm.
And then probably my next logical um thing to do would be this area here, like between the mountains and the tortoise,
Mhm.
because I thought those were quite obvious pieces to pick out. So I think I'll probably get a good bit of that together. But there are quite a lot of them, so I didn't start them this week. But I think they'd be a good bit to go with next, and then just yeah, just working my way down, get more of that frame going. I think the lower parts of the portals are probably the bits, if there's anywhere I've missorted, it'll be some of the darker pieces.
Mhm.
So there might be a wee bit gappier down here, but I think I can, yeah, I think I can get the structure mostly there, and then move on to the next portal after that. It's coming together really quick.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. So that's what I've achieved this on this week's live. I mean, I have to say, I probably wouldn't have got this much done if you weren't here, Rose, 'cause
Yeah. You're
honestly,
welcome.
usually I'm stopping to read the chat and stuff. So it's been rather nice for me. I've just been able to just puzzle away.
Yeah.
So, but it's been great. So I hope that you enjoyed that, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed chatting with Rose. And yeah, Rose, just you are welcome back anytime. Just let me know. Or obviously in the wee typey chat if you ever can't make it
Yep.
in person, that would be cool too. But yeah, we just love having you. It's so good.
Thank you so much. This has been fantastic. Let's see if I'm on next week. I'm not sure at the time. My Backerkit campaign is, I'm just going to plug this for one moment here, since might be
Mm,
my last chance to speak to you all. But if you
that's all right.
are interested in supporting me, my work, audiobooks, and puzzles together, that Backerkit campaign link is in the description. And of course, if you have any questions, you can message me directly. And for those of you who have already pledged, I am very, very appreciative, and I'm glad that we already hit our big goals. And if we do hit that last stretch goal, or the second to last stretch goal for the dance at Waters Glade, then Vicki will get her ballroom puzzle. And oh, Vicki, if you want, I could draw you into the image dancing in the background.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that would be such a good idea. Oh my gosh, I can make that happen if we can do
Thank
it. So,
you.
guys, we have to hit that stretch goal. We have to hit it
I
now
would
because
love
I
that.
just opened my mouth. So, this is good. If you want to be part of my fantasy world, Vicki, I mean, you're more than welcome. I will draw
Oh
you
my
in.
gosh, I'm so excited.
That'd be so
Yes, please.
cool. Let's make this happen. Oh my gosh, let's
Oh,
make
that
this
would be great. That would be great. Well, just to reiterate then, what Rose said, the link for the Backer Kit campaign is down in the description for all of these lives. So, and it's just there's a week left on it, is that right?
Yes, it's just about a week left. So once it ends, then some of the items like the micro puzzles will not be available like anywhere else. Like that's it. The other items though, like the audiobooks and the 1,000-piece puzzles, those will be available, but that's after the backers for the campaign get their items. So you have to
Mhm.
wait a bit longer on those. But yeah, so less than a week. So do not wait if you intend to pledge. And once again, if you are
Yeah.
international, if you have questions about shipping, all the shipping is calculated at the end of the campaign. And sometimes
Mhm.
international shipping can be quite high. So just like reach out to me and I'll give you a shipping estimate. So you're not surprised by that price tag that comes out in November 8th when the campaign ends. But yes.
Yeah.
So
Got
thank you
you.
again
So
so much.
You are most welcome. Thank you. It's been lovely. It's been really lovely once again, just chatting away and puzzling on your beautiful puzzle. So thank you so much. And yeah, I guess we'll just say we'll see you when we see you. I'll obviously let everybody know. And you can keep in touch with me and let me know. But yeah, I mean, I'll be doing this a good few more weeks yet, so there's lots of time. There's lots of time. So. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thanks for all your questions and for all the chat. And what is coming up? I am hoping to get a video up tomorrow night. Want to do it as a premiere. It'll be my part two of the Big City Collage 24-hour marathon. So yeah, I've been working pretty solidly on that all day. So I hope to get it done for tomorrow. So that'll be the next thing to look for on Vicki Makes and Builds. Live stream wise, I will be back on Thursday with a new puzzle. No idea what it's going to be yet, but maybe have a look out for a poll. I'll put a poll up with a few options and you can pick which one you'd like to see. But yes, still lots of puzzling to come. So thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you all later. Happy puzzling. Bye, Rose. Bye, everyone.
Bye.